life that will make the biggest impact, biggest difference, is nothing more than a mentor and a coach. And in every aspect of your life, you need a mentor and a coach. There's not one person is a mentor and a coach for everything. Your financial mentor is, my financial mentor is not my spiritual mentor, and my spiritual mentor is not my physical fitness mentor, and my physical fitness mentor is not my nutrition coach. I have a separate nutrition coach that guides me on nutrition. So once you have this, you'll be able to make money. And I'll give you some specialized knowledge. And so let me share with you on how my specialized knowledge and what I've been able to do and to make money and how I can share my good fortune with you. And the most powerful form of marketing, of all the form of marketing, is, I believe, is relationship marketing and joint venture. Of all the form of marketing. And I've been trying to buy, my motto right now is go big or go home. Go big or go home. And
Go big or go home.
Yeah, go big or go home. So I said, you know what? I don't want to buy one house, two houses anymore. I want to buy hundreds of houses. I want to buy thousands of houses. And the only place that I can do it is through Bank REO and the bank tapes. And I've been trying to get a hold of that source, get to the bank that they would sell this. I'd buy it.
I'm sorry, I don't know the term bank tapes.
The tape is the REO is real estate only. Okay. So when they give you a list of homes in an Excel spreadsheet, they call it a tape. Thank you for asking. And so Bank REO properties, and banks have taken literally hundreds of thousands of properties foreclosed. They have to dispose it. It's a very insider trade. If you don't have the contact, you're out of line.
Yeah.
And I have tried so many times, and like people in my office, I had people with I found it just nothing but a daisy chain. And a daisy chain is like middlemen. There's a bunch of middlemen. I think this is a guy who has sent me the thing. I think he's the owner, but I find out no, he's not. And I said, you know what? Hell with it. I gave up. And a friend of mine sent me, and he knew that I was serious. So he went after it, and he found the source. And he called me and said, Roger, I found the source. I said, are you sure? He said, is it the source? He goes, yes, this is the source. I said, what I mean by source is the guy who writes a check to the bank. That's the guy I want. None of the middlemen. He goes, this is the guy. I said, where is he? He goes, he lives in Tampa. I said, it's a sign from. I picked up the phone right away and I called him. I said, you know, may I have the privilege of taking you out to lunch? I took him out to lunch and I said, we're not worthy. Said, I found you. And one of my success strategies, one of my recipes for success, if you want to become successful, take successful people out to lunch. If you want to become successful, take successful people out to lunch. Successful people out to lunch. Every day, you have lunch. What if you made a commitment today? You know what? Once a week, once a month, I will have lunch with someone who's doing better than me. And I'll go there to learn from them. And you'll see that I've taken billionaires out to lunch, millionaires out to lunch. I've taken the mayors of cities out to lunch. I've read in an airline, I read a magazine, an article. I fell in love with this guy is brilliant. I found out where the author lived. I went out and took the author out to lunch. And every time I've taken people out to lunch, and this has paid incredible dividends. And you think that most people, and you would think that they are so busy that they will have time, especially the successful people. No. So few people ask them. So few people ask them, especially if you go up to them. I mean, who you are and what you represent resonates with me, and I really admire you. May I have the privilege of taking you out to lunch, dinner, and put the power cable on before I lose it. And so if you ask him like that, then the very first time I learned that is also through a seminar. I went to literally after UCLA, I went to this first seminar, and he's a seminar speaker who said, take successful people out to lunch. I was so broke, I raised my hand and said, if they're so successful, should they take me out to lunch? He looks at me and goes, young man, you pay for the knowledge. I was too dumb to realize that. But, so I remember, so I got out, true story. I got out, and I said, you know what? I said, I want to take someone successful out to lunch. And I looked around, and I didn't know who to take successful out to lunch. And so I said, the speaker, said, nah, he won't give me the time of the day. I'm too scared to ask him. My self-esteem was not high enough to go ask him. So I took the next best thing. I took the guy who introduced the speaker, and then he came and he said how he used his material and became successful. I said, he'll be able to relate to me more. So he said, well, I took him out to lunch, and I was in Los Angeles, literally, and I was living in Burbank, and went to the seminar. Long story short, I got the guy's phone number, and I called, hey, who's the guy that was introduced him? And the office gave me his phone number, and I called him, and I said, hey, I said, may I have the privilege of taking you out to lunch? And he goes, oh, because I'm so flattered you asked me that. Of course I will. He said, sure, give me your address. So he goes, I forget, it's Snell Avenue, San Jose. I said, excuse me? He goes, San Jose. I said, but you were here. He goes, yeah, I flew in. I forgot, people can fly in. And he goes, are you? I said, I'm in LA. Because you were in LA seminar. He goes, yes. I said, he goes, hey, listen, I'm thankful that I'm flattered that you've asked me, but I'm going to help you. Just anytime you want anything, just call me. We can give you advice over the phone. He said, something snapped inside of me. I said, here is somebody successful who is willing to give me his time for free and give me advice. Do I want it that bad that I'm going to let 7 hours of driving distance stop from that? Is that how strong the burning desire is? And right then and there, this happened in a few seconds, I called him and said, no, I'm going to take you out to lunch. I am dead broke. I remember I borrowed money, and I borrowed money to buy the small cassette tape, the small cassette tape. On the way, I bought a cassette tape, and I went to San Jose. I woke up at 4 in the morning to drive to San Jose to take him out to lunch, and I'm sitting there, and when I went to sit down at lunch, and I said, sir, I have a long drive back, and
It switches off.
okay. Right. It was on the off. I started a long drive back. I cannot write as fast as you can talk, and perhaps every word that you say is so valuable to me. May I record it so I can listen to it on the way back? Do you think that he, at that point, knew that how serious I was, how much I valued his advice?
Oh, yeah.
So, and I just sat there, and I started just telling him my dreams, my desires, everything. And halfway through, and I was telling him so excited, I was halfway through, he goes, you got to stop! I was verbal diarrhea. He goes, stop. Did I do something wrong? What did I do? The whole restaurant heard him. And he goes, I want you to come and work for me. I said, what? He said, I want you to come and work for me. I said, because you're in sales. He said, I've got so many leads. People come and say, you know what? I'm so flattered that you have asked me, but I didn't come here to get a job. I didn't come here to get a job, but he was a better salesman than me. He convinced me to go and work for him. And I did. And that's where I met Tony Robbins. And then how one thing led to another, and look, and the like. And the truth is, when you take someone successful out to lunch, and you sit down with them, and you ask them in that way, what is the first thing you've done? You've stroked their what? Ego. They're so glad that you asked them out. They're so flattered. They end up paying for lunch anyway. Because they're gonna give you back somehow. And so understand this one simple philosophy of life. And this guy, I took him out to lunch, and there's a corollary to this for the, if you take successful out to lunch and then write down this, become a value adder. Become a value adder, not a taker. When you sit down with someone, figure out what can you do to add value to them. And if you're thinking that I've taken a billionaire out to lunch, how the hell am I going to add value to a billionaire? I'll tell you how to add value to a billionaire. If they become a billionaire, they have their favorite charity. What you do is you ask them about their charity and how you can help their charity by giving your time if you don't have any money, or you donate money to their charity, and they will be indebted to you. Because every billionaire, because their love at that point is not money, is to grow their charity. And if somebody is so busy that they don't have time for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or anything else, do whatever it takes. One of the things is say that, may I have the opportunity to take you a ride to the airport? Because you have captive. Further the airport is, the more you have captive. And simple thing that people don't take advantage of. Because think about it, the speaker, we have to go to the airport, right? They came in, and if it's not breakfast, it's lunch, it's I'll meet you for breakfast. You tell me what time, midnight or 5 a.m., I'll be there. 5 a.m. I'll be there. If you want to become successful, a burning desire, and the story goes that this young kid says he had met this mentor, said, hey, I want to become successful. Did you really want to become successful? He said, yeah, I'll do anything you say. I'll do. He said, all right, then meet me at the beach at 5 a.m. with that states in your bathing suit. So he goes, he meets him at the beach. And he said, all right. He said, walk with me. They're up to about this much water. He takes the kid, takes his head, and dunks him in the water. And he's holding him. He's like, then he takes him out. Before he said, are you ever? And he's fighting. How can you go? You are crazy! Because when your head was down, there's nothing in your mind. There's only one thing that you're thinking of, and that's what? Oxygen. Right? There's only one thing. Your life depends on oxygen at that moment because your head was in the water and you are flailing for nothing but oxygen. He goes, when you think of success like that, that's when you become successful. That was the lesson. That you think nothing. Make success your obligation, your duty to yourself and to your family. And if you want a challenge, I will give it to you. Write down this book, the 10X Challenge. The 10X, as in times. The 10 times rule. The 10 times rule, the 10X rule by Grant Cardone. And I want you to not only buy the book, but I want you to download the audio book tonight. You go home, you download the audio book, the 10X rule, and you know how people ask, 10X rule. And 10X, no, 10X rule, R-U-L-E. It's a challenge that I'm giving you. The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, C-A-R-D-O-N-E. And you know how people talk about what book has the best book you've ever read and stuff? Many books I've read. I don't know if there's a best book, but it's a recent book that has made the biggest impact in my life. It's this book, The 10X Rule. And at the end of every chapter, there are questions that he gives you, exercises. So that you don't just read, you have to act. And all my mentor students, this is a mandatory. Mandatory. But since you're not, this is an optional exercise for you. So you're not obligated to do it, but if you want to rise to the challenge, is take that and then finish the exercise. And then if you finish the exercise, and yes, you are busy, so am I. And you have to complete finish the listening, reading, doing the exercise in 7 days. In 7 days. And then if you finish it, send me. I'll give you my email. Send me your answers, and I will send you my answers. So that you can see how we think. Because the difference is in everything is in the mindset. Would you agree? So I will give you as a gift my answers to